A mochi moment from Mark, who writes, I just want to thank you for making GLP-1s affordable. What would have been over $1,000 a month is just $99 a month with Mochi. Money shouldn't be a barrier to healthy weight. 3 months in, and I have smaller jeans and a bigger wallet. You're the best. Thanks, Mark. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Mark is a Mochi member compensated for his story.
Don't question me, Michelle.
Eavesdroppin.
Michelle.
Geordie.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
High. Hell or high water.
Hell or high water. How the hell and high water are you?
I'm about as liquid as you can get on a Friday night.
Oh, that's good. I do see bubbles in your hand.
Yeah, sorry.
Wonderful. No, I'm jealous. I'm well jealous. I just had tea, cold old tea.
Oh, cold old. It's like old gold. Do you remember
Old
that?
Spice.
Old Spice.
Old gold.
Yeah, old gold. Cold tea. Well, I'm 3 sheets to the wind. Apologies in advance. I'll do my best to be present and correctable.
Yes, I'm sure you'll be great. I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah, I guess it's that time. I'm a Geordie and I'm not as tall as our fans would have thought.
What do you mean you're not as tall?
I met an eavesdropper the other day.
Okay. Yes.
Shari it was, and she's going to be on this month's Patreon. So if you're a patron, you can go and hear her talking to me. But if you're not, then you have to pop a penny in the slot. But when I met Shari, I said, I'm the tall one standing outside the station. And she came out and she said, oh, you're not as tall as I expected.
Cut you down.
I said, well, wait till you see Michelle. She's really, really, really short. She makes me look like a giant.
I do make everyone look like a giant, I'm afraid. And I can only imagine it's all downhill from here. I'm just going to be losing centimetres every year.
Yeah. The only way's down after a certain stage, isn't it?
It is. And bless her, Jen.
Jen the hen.
Jen the hen is...
Your mother. I just feel like we have to preempt that because not everybody knows who Jen is.
Yes, Jen the hen. She's not Gen X. She's Jen.
She's not Gen X. She's just Jen. Exactly. I liked your little quip that you made last episode.
You. She's Jen, and she's teeny tiny, even tinier than me.
And is she going smaller and smaller and smaller until she disappears altogether? Is that what's going to happen to Jen?
No, she'll always have her Hollywood blonde hair. So,
Till one day you'd look down on the floor. Who left that wig there? It's Jen, you bastard. That's what's going to happen to Jen. She's going to disappear bit by bit, year after year. Sorry, Jen. How disrespectful. I'm sorry. You're one of our biggest fans.
I know. She listens to every episode. I mean, she puts it on and falls asleep, bless her. But she does listen. She does listen, and she likes the podcast. She loves it.
She loves the podcast. Do you love the podcast? If you're listening, I would hope you fucking do. Excuse the language.
And if you do,
you know what to do.
Go to all the socials. Big us up.
Big up us.
Give us a write up and 5 stars.
Be kind. Don't say what you really think.
Well, I have to say, I have been listening to another podcast.
Oh,
I've been cheating on
bitch.
us. I know. I mean, look, I love a good podcast.
Yeah, don't we all?
I've got to grab my phone and find out what it's called because I'm intrigued by it.
Is it true crime?
Well, kind of, but not.
That's very intriguing what you've just said.
What, kind of, but not? Is that intriguing?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, here it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was very prepared.
Very prepared. It's because I listened to it, but I don't kind of remember what the name is.
Okay.
It's been drip fed. I mean, I have to pay if I want to binge the whole lot.
Oh, so you have to listen to it week to week.
Yeah, a little bit like Slow Horses. I can't just binge that.
We're not starting. We're not starting till it's built up.
Oh, I've watched episode 1. I'm still waiting for episode 2. This podcast is called Wisecrack.
Oh, I like that title.
So it starts off, this American girl goes to a stand-up comedy performance at the Edinburgh Festival. And this guy tells this tale, which ends up being a bit of a true crime tale. And she kind of says, is it real? And it goes from there.
Wow.
And all I'm going to say is there's murder, there's truths, there's half-truths. And I'm not even like all the way through it. You can binge the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Okay. It's got a bit of a taint of baby reindeer about it.
Yes, but it's a documentary. It's real.
Okay.
It's not fiction. It's really strange. And the guy's voice reminds me of a guy that I used to not like very much.
Like a person you knew?
Yes. So it's a bit unnerving, but the story is very interesting and I don't know where it's going to go. That is a pod wreck.
Fantastic. Are we getting into recommendations already? Michelle, remind me, did you actually introduce yourself?
Oh, maybe not, because
sure
you
if
were
you
the
did.
tall one. You're the tall one. I'm the short one. I'm
your
Michelle.
name is? Michelle. That's right.
Dear listeners, you're eavesdroppers.
Well, but they know that.
Yes, I know, but you've got to remind them.
Yeah, remind you you're an eavesdropper. Remind you to do the likes and the shares. And
Like,
remind
we
you to
sound
go on
like
Instagram.
mothers.
Remind you to do a review. Nonna. Remember, you got to put a 5-star. Do I get cancelled for that accent?
Yes.
And Michelle, you've just given a recommendation. Over on that Patreon that we keep talking about, we have all the links for every episode. Michelle tirelessly puts them together, plus links ahoy.
Yes, I do. And we have telerecs. We have all sorts of things. Speaking of Rex, I'm currently watching a show I don't love. We watched it because it just came up. I thought it was new, but it's old, actually. I think it's from 2022. It's
Heidi High? It's not Faulty Towers.
No, it's not. It's something that I thought actually would be better than it is. It's got Steve Carell in it. It's called The Patient. And he's a therapist. The premise is, and it's got Ron Weasley, you know, Hold, whatever his name is.
Donald Gleeson. That's not him. No, you mean Rupert Grint.
Oh, who did I say? Ron Weasley.
You said Ron Gleeson. You said Ron Weasley.
Yes, I did.
But I think you're talking about his older brother in the Harry Potter films.
Maybe.
Which is that red-headed Irish actor, Donald Gleeson.
Is that how you say his name? Donald.
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 Yeah,
How do you spell that?
DOMH.
OLD or something. There's a D in there.
AL. No, Donald.
No.
The D's at the beginning.
Now I've got to look.
His name's Donald.
Hang on. I've got to look this up because, like I said,
it's DOMHALL Gleeson. And his father is Brendan Gleeson, that amazing actor.
Yes, it is.
He was in Braveheart. Didn't talk to me when I worked on Braveheart.
What a cunt. This,
Jesus.
You know, you're right. Dom Hernal Gleeson.
It's just Donald.
Donald. Yes, this guy, he's in it. So it's Steve Carell and this guy, Domhnall Gleeson. Donald Gleeson. It's like a doner kebab. I can't get my head around either of these. He plays a serial killer.
Oh.
And Steve Carell is the Jewish therapist. He wakes up and he's chained to a bed. He's been abducted by the serial killer.
Oh my God, I love this
who wants therapy
already.
to not be a serial killer. But I'm not loving it.
Okay, so it's an anti-rec.
Well, maybe it's just not my bag. I don't know. Maybe it's not my jam.
I love the sound of that. I think it sounds
I thought
good.
the premise sounded good, but then it got a bit too Jewish and I don't know, like...
Jewish?
Well, because they talk a lot
can't-
about
you can't-
Orthodox. No, but even he says in the series, he's like, I'm not Jewish enough for my son who's now Orthodox. Like, it's very Jewish orientated.
Levels of Jewishness.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's some shocking moments. Am I loving it? No. But will I finish it? Yes. I will.
Okay, because you want to know what happens? Just go on Wikipedia.
Well, Andreas likes to finish a series.
Oh,
I can leave it.
Can you not scroll while he's watching?
Yeah, I cannot.
Oh.
If I don't love something, I'll just abandon. But he's like, no, we started it. Got to finish it.
We have to commit. Gee whiz, that is full on.
I know.
Well, can I recommend something
Yes.
to you that is something fun that I would say everybody should do just for a laugh, actually?
For a laugh?
It's a short little comedy sketch show. I don't know if I've recommended it before. It's Key and Peele, and it's on Comedy Central. It's a sketch show. There's 5 seasons of it. It stars Jordan Peele, yes, the director of all those wonderful films, like my favourite film, Nope, and Keegan-Michael Key, who I find quite attractive.
Oh, hang on. So what's it called?
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele.
Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah.
Okay. You have never recommended this, so...
Haven't I?
No.
Oh, it's a comedy sketch show. They're so funny.
Okay, I think I like the sound of that. I just remember the last kind of comedic thing you recommended was, what was it, Down Below or something? Below Deck.
That wasn't comedy.
Isn't it
That
meant
was like
to be?
people having sex in urinals and stuff.
Oh
no,
my God.
it's reality.
I thought it was meant to be like comedic
Don't
reality
watch that
show.
No,
I
no,
watched
no,
one
no,
episode.
No.
I couldn't get into
Terrible.
it.
No, it's brain rot, Michelle. Don't watch that.
It was awful. I
That
thought.
wasn't a wreck. It's just what I do to dissociate from my body
Oh,
when I've had a hard day thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. But the other thing I would recommend
Yes.
is another blast from the past, because Key and Peele is not new, and nor is Inside Number 9,
Okay.
which is comedy show, or dark comedy anthology series, actually, created by
Yes.
and starring Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton, both of whom were in The League of Gentlemen.
okay.
Tubbs and Edward,
Tubbs.
the people from the local shop for local people.
Yes.
So basically each episode is self-contained, and it takes place in somewhere that there's a 9 at the beginning of, or somewhere, there are so many series,
Yeah.
and essentially it's like a modern version of Tales of the Unexpected, like a modern Roald Dahl,
Ooh.
always with a twist at the end. Things to make you think, sometimes dark, sometimes scary, sometimes sad, sometimes stupid.
Okay.
Every episode has different people in it, but always those two actors who wrote each episode. I believe that they are modern geniuses.
Ooh.
Or genii, as I like to say.
Okay.
Well, that's how you say it.
Genii.
Yeah.
Genii.
Like an octopi.
An octopus.
You don't say octopuses, do you?
No, you don't.
Or a platypi.
A platypi. I guess I don't really say that. I think I do say platypuses, but it's probably not right. Anyway, do write in if you know. I also watched the first episode of a series called Wayward. It's got Toni Collette in it.
Oh, I saw it advertised. That's why it's familiar. Good?
I didn't love it.
Oh, Michelle, she's bombing out left, right and centre with her televisual choices.
Do you know what? I love a quality drama.
Yeah.
I just feel like this could end up being a bit cheesy.
Right.
It's a little bit Yellow Jackets, but not as good in terms of if you had to pitch it at a level. Mae Martin wrote it.
Who?
Mae Martin. I don't think you can call her a she or a he.
They, them.
They, them. Yep. Watch my pronouns.
After the shit show last week.
Oh my
On
God.
the
The fucking
Zizians.
Zizians. Jesus Christ.
I'm
Fill me
sure
now.
there'll be some complaints rolling in for that one, because you called
I'm sure.
the main Zizian he, then she. You were all over the shop.
Yes, but what are you meant to do?
You're supposed to remember, and you're supposed to make your brain work. Don't relax. Never relax
Okay.
when speaking. Ever.
Never relax.
Or
Okay.
identifying people.
Yeah, sorry again.
You did preempt it, so that's fair.
There was another series I started watching as well. We talked about it last week. Task.
Oh, Task. Yes, I've put that on my list of things to watch.
I watched the first episode. Again, didn't grab me.
Oh,
What's
for God's
wrong?
sake.
What's wrong? I just
think you
want
need
the
some
good
medication.
televisual dramas. I need the top-notch shit.
Well, I picked up on a recommendation by an eavesdropper and by you, Drops of God, or the drop of what's good for you is what I was calling it for a number of weeks. And then I was calling it a drop of cod liver oil. It's called
Okay.
Drops of God, and it was silly, but it was good.
Yes. Did you watch the whole thing?
The whole thing.
To the end.
I enjoyed it. The love interest was quite something. He was quite hot. Tommy.
Oh,
Tommy.
yeah, he was not bad. But I could not take my eyes off her. She was stunning in that
She was
in
pretty.
that French natural freckles kind of easy hair way. I liked her outfits.
But Michelle, what are we talking about this week? Is it real lives, real true crime, or supernatural?
In some ways, it's listener's choice, but it's also a Gawn Too Soon.
That's right, because we listened to a listener who asked us to do a couple of her favourite RIP actors.
And musicians.
Well, one actor and one musician. Michelle was tasked with a musician, but she failed.
I did fail. I've got something else. But, Geordie, you did your homework.
I did.
You hit the task, and I'm excited to hear all about
I
it.
did hit this task. And actually, Safka is the fan that wrote in and asked, please do a story on Brandon Lee. Now, we have spoken about him before. He's an actor. Gawn Too Soon. Spoiler.
Yes.
It's the tragedy of Brandon Lee. And we have talked about it way back in the beginning. I think it was an extra droppings
Could have been.
on Cursed Films.
Yes.
And you'll understand more about it. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but here's a different take on the tragedy of Brandon Lee. And I'm going to take you to begin with, Michelle and eavesdroppers, right back to Hollywood in 2021.
Oh.
When tragedy struck on the set of the film Rust, starring Alec Baldwin.
Yes, he got away with it.
During rehearsals for a scene in New Mexico, the actor, Alec Baldwin, was handed a revolver. As you probably know, Michelle has already basically given away the end of my particular segue. Thanks, Mish.
Sorry.
He was handed a revolver during a scene. They were rehearsing. The gun fired, and in a tragic set of circumstances, it ended up killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injuring the film's director, Joel Souza or Souza. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Essentially, Alec Baldwin was pointing the pistol at her when it discharged, and he said he pulled back the hammer but not the trigger. If you know about guns, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but I don't. The gun fired. There was a charge brought against him and the armourer on the film, the person who handles the weapons, of involuntary manslaughter, but it was dismissed at trial last year on allegations that police and prosecutors withheld evidence from the defence. So not a clean dismissal.
I did not know that. Okay.
I will say that Alec Baldwin has gone on the record and tried to countersue, actually having suffered quite a lot of mental distress and trauma as a result of taking someone's life accidentally. And you would.
I also think the trauma and stress of having the whole world go, are you fucking kidding me? He got away with it. There's a lot of negativity surrounding
There's so much
him.
to unpack there.
Yeah, so I understand why he would be fucked up, for sure.
Yeah. But we're not talking about him because we're talking about another actor, because almost immediately after that incident occurred, a message appeared on Twitter from Shannon Lee, who's the sister of the late Brandon Lee and the daughter of Bruce Lee. And it said, "No one should ever be killed by a gun on a film set, period."
I thought you were going to say she wrote again.
Well, pretty much. She wrote what she wrote.
Yeah.
And that's because the Rust tragedy was not just devastating in its own right, but for Shannon and many others, it was an eerie reminder of something that happened nearly 3 decades earlier on another film set with another gun that should have been safe. I'm talking about Brandon Lee, as you know, and he was another rising star. Gone too soon, as you like to say, Michelle. Gone too soon.
G-A-W-N, gone. I'm just shocked by more than 30 years ago
3
this
decades.
happened.
I know.
Fuck.
It's a long time ago.
Time flies.
But let's just go back to Brandon's origins. Brandon Bruce Lee was born on February the 1st, 1965 in Oakland, California. As I've said, his father was legendary martial arts film star Bruce Lee, and he wasn't just a martial artist or an actor, but he was also a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And he died suddenly in 1973 when Brandon was just 8 years old. But for the rest of Brandon's life, he would live in his shadow.
Right.
And expected to follow in his father's footsteps. But he didn't, for the most part, at least.
Okay.
Although at a young age, Brandon did train in martial arts. His father had taught him Jeet Kune Do, and later he studied with Bruce's students Dan Inosanto and Richard Bustillo. But martial arts wasn't the only thing that interested young Brandon. When he was a teenager, he found himself drawn towards acting, and he would visit his father's film sets as a child, so that might have left a lasting impression, who knows?
Yeah.
So eventually, Brandon studied theatre at Emerson College in Boston and later at the famous Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute in New York, which I think is very famous for method acting, isn't it? Lee Strasberg, is that right?
I believe so. Where you just immerse yourself.
I was
You
immersing
become-
myself in a method.
You become the character.
Don't look at me. Yeah. So he began to build his craft as a stage actor and not really as a fighter. But there was conflict because he reportedly struggled with the pressure of being Bruce Lee's son and even turned away from martial arts for a while, preferring to play football and getting up to the usual teenage antics, snogging, fingering, all of that.
Oh my God.
Probably, allegedly. But it wasn't too long before Hollywood came a-calling. Brandon's first credited role came in Kung Fu the Movie in 1986, which was a TV spin-off of the 1970s martial arts series starring David Carradine. Carradine had reprised his role as Kwai Chang Caine, while Brandon played Kane's illegitimate son. I don't know if anyone listening is a fan of Kung Fu, but it was big in the 70s and 80s, and I didn't know anything about this film. I'm not really a mad martial arts fan, so it passed me by.
Me too. I don't know that movie, but everyone knows Bruce Lee.
Yeah, and ironically, Bruce himself had once been considered for the original Kung Fu TV role, but he lost out to David Carradine.
Is that weird?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Because David Carradine, I don't really know what his credentials were.
No, I don't think he was a Kung Fu master. I think
I don't know. Just an actor.
Just an actor, whereas...
Was he the one that died in the cupboard with the rope?
What the hell? I have to look that up.
You need to look it up. There's two Carradines, David and Keith, and I can't remember. I know David was the Kung Fu guy. Who was the one that was in the Tarantino film? I should have done this research, shouldn't I?
Hang on.
Who was in Kill Bill? Who was her husband in Kill Bill?
He died in a Swiss hotel in Bangkok.
In suspicious circumstances.
He arrived in Bangkok, May 31, 2009, to shoot a film, actually. I thought he was just there hanging out. He was found dead in his room. He was 72. He was found naked and had hanged himself in the room's closet with a curtain cord.
Very Michael Hutchins. I did know that. And was he the actor that starred opposite Uma Thurman as Bill in Kill Bill?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, look at this. Kill Bill.
We've segued.
Bill. He's Bill. He is Bill.
I knew it. We've segued.
We have.
But we're going back to Brandon. His first job felt almost... It was weird. Like you said, it was weird because he played the son of the character who his dad was supposed to play. So, yeah, it was kind of a nod to his father's unfinished business, I guess.
Yeah.
But from then on, Brandon worked steadily. In his early films like Legacy of Rage was filmed in Hong Kong, Laser Mission and Showdown in Little Tokyo, alongside Dolph Lundgren, who I had a small crush on back in the 80s. Dolph weren't well received. He's Swedish.
No.
But they showcased his charisma. Yes, he is. Dolph Lundgren.
German.
Yes, he's Swedish.
Oh my God, I've got to look that up now. Okay, continue.
Michelle's all over the wikis right now. He followed with the film Rapid Fire in 1992, which was a buddy action flick where Brandon also helped to design the fight choreography, weaving bits and pieces of his own Jeet Kune Do.
He's Swedish. He's fucking Swedish. Why does he look like...
Don't question me, Michelle.
Yeah, but he looks like some kind of...
Looks like a Swede.
Oh, I don't know. He looks German. He looks like a German robot.
Away from Dolph, we're going to go back to Brandon. Despite the critics not always loving his movies, they really loved him because he had presence and a kind of charm. And he was obviously on the brink of a bit of a breakthrough. Yeah. Then came The Crow. This movie was based on the graphic novel by James O'Barr and told the story of character Eric Draven, who's a musician who'd been murdered alongside his fiancée on the eve of their wedding. Ooh. Bit of a nod to Kill Bill there. Eric Draven is then resurrected by a mysterious crow to avenge their deaths. Right. It's dark, gothic and atmospheric, and the story was unlike the campy action films that Brandon had made before, so it's a bit of a departure and could have marked a new era for him as a film star. The producer, Jeff Most, remembers how Brandon threw himself into the role. He didn't want the character of Eric Draven to move like a martial artist. Right. He wasn't Bruce Lee, basically. He wanted to separate himself from that. He was a rock musician. He was raw, emotional, and suddenly filled with all this supernatural power. I haven't seen the film, by the way. This is all my research telling me this stuff.
Do you think Brandon Lee's good looking?
Not for me, no.
He was never my cup of tea, but he's got that square jaw look. I can kind of see it.
Yeah, I get it. Maybe a little like Jack White.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Without the makeup, maybe.
But going back to Brandon, we're still segueing away from Brandon. Sorry about that. He created his own language of movement for the character. He stripped away all those years of martial arts training and relearned something to suit the character. So he was immersed. He was method. He was Lee Strasberg.
Brandon Lee Strasberg.
He obviously was a good student when he was doing all this stuff. And in a pioneering move, Michelle, he even submerged himself in ice baths to imagine what resurrection might feel like. Take note, Wim Hof.
Get fucked.
What?
I can't do that. I can't go.
That's a no from you.
That's a no. Ice baths in Sweden are so fucking popular. I'm like, no. I just want to be warm.
I tell you something I heard the other day. I'll tell you something I heard the other day. Not I will tell you. I heard that men can do it much easier than women.
I bet. I bet. I have a mental block as well as a physical recoil. I recoil from being cold. Like,
I know what you mean.
You cannot get me in there.
I mean, even when I walk into my heated pool, well, it's not even heated, not very heated, in my weekly aqua aerobics classes, when I get up to that tummy part, it's really hard. I have to really plunge myself in.
It's always the vag. It's always the vag that's the hard bit to get in. I get sort of to the top of the thighs and then it's like, cannot put the V in the W.
You want to dunk your V.
Dunk the V.
Dunk your iced Vovo. Listen, we're getting away from Brandon Lee. We're talking about Brandon Lee.
Sorry.
But Safka, she asked for this.
Yes.
Safka and everyone else, if you're listening. Because he was playing a musician, he also learnt guitar. That's how dedicated Brandon Lee was. He was bloody good. He also, in a move similar to the other great actor of our time, what's his name?
Too much champagne.
What's that guy's name?
Tonight.
He lost weight and he put it on and he was the Dark Knight. And
What, Heath Ledger?
No, he was Dark Knight. To Heath Ledger's Joker. Oh, the English child actor, and then he grew up and he's quite difficult to work with.
Who?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Do I have to wiki this now? You don't mean Leo DiCaprio?
No, try again.
Hang on. So who was he? The Dark Knight?
He was Batman to Heath...
Christian Bale.
Thank you, Christian Bale.
But I just knew that before I even looked it
That's
up.
what I'm talking about.
Christian Bale.
Yes, thank you.
So
he lost weight, much like Christian Bale, who is... Despite what you think about him, he is a good actor. And he changed his body to fit the wiry frame of a musician rather than a super fit Hollywood action film star. That's Brandon. That's his commitment. Everything he did was meticulous and considered. He was deeply artistic and it showed in his commitment to the role. Michelle, he was destined for great things.
Yeah.
Sophia Sheenass, who played his fiancée Shelley in The Crow, remembered urging him to wear a protective flak jacket on set, but he just brushed her off and he said, and this is quite chilling, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go home.
Oh my God. Thing is, it's never anyone's time. No one wants to really go. People will cling on. Yeah. Nobody wants to go.
He had this kind of devil-may-care attitude, this kind of
but
what will be,
real?
Will be. He lost his dad young. He's no stranger to grief. He's no stranger to death.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a flippant comment because nobody really wants to fucking go.
No, I suppose not. But listen, on March the 31st, 1993, just days before filming was set to finish, Brandon was shooting a scene in which Eric Draven walks into his apartment to find Shelley being assaulted. And there was an actor, like I said, we have spoken about this before on the podcast, I remember. Actor Michael Massey was playing one of the men who were attacking her, and he was meant to fire a revolver at Brandon's character, Eric Draven, and that gun was supposed to be safe. The firearms production team had previously made dummy rounds improvised from live bullets and the powder was removed so it would still look real on camera. But one of those dummies had left behind a fragment lodged in the barrel. So when the weapon was later reloaded with blanks, the pressure was enough to propel that fragment out with deadly force. God. So when Massey pulled the trigger, much like Alec Baldwin, Brandon collapsed. And at first, crew members thought he was acting or even joking. So no one really reacted. But then he didn't get up. And stunt coordinator Jeff Imada was the first to realize something was wrong. He was unconscious. Brandon was unconscious. He was struggling to breathe.
Oh, my God.
On-set medics tried desperately to revive him. And then he was transferred to hospital where he underwent 6 hours of surgery.
So he was alive still? Fuck.
Sadly, Brandon Lee was pronounced dead at 1:03 p.m. and he was just 28 years old.
Oh my God, part of the 28 Club.
Yeah. What?
Isn't it the 28 Club?
No, Michelle.
What is it? The 27 Club?
You've ruined my gravitas moment.
Oh.
It's the 27 Club.
Oh, the 27 Club. Sorry.
The 28 Club.
No, well, the 28 is your Saturn return, isn't it? I get them mixed up. It is.
You're 30, 32.
Oh, my God. I haven't even been drinking.
What is going on?
I don't know.
You are dyscalculaic.
Oh,
That's what's going on here.
I don't even know what that means.
Listen, I feel really bad having just laughed at all of those things because I'm in the middle of telling you how Brandon Lee died at just 28 years old and you fucked it up. But the news devastated Hollywood and the world, especially because Brandon has just been days away from marrying his fiancée, Eliza Hutton.
Oh my God, the model?
Eliza Hutton.
Was she a model?
I don't know.
I
She was 28. Her Saturn was returning.
Okay.
Who knows?
Oh, God.
Michelle,
Eliza
stop
Hutton.
talking.
I've just got to listen to this. Oh my, well, poor guy. And poor her. She's the one that has to live with the aftermath.
Yeah.
That's just awful.
I didn't look her up, unfortunately. Sorry about that. The cast and the crew of The Crow were absolutely shattered, and producer Jeff Most said he was such a beacon of light, smart, generous, intuitive, the kind of person you wanted as a best friend. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration fined the production, though the amount was later reduced. No criminal charges were filed. Michael Massey, who was the actor that fired the shot, was never blamed, but he later said, "I don't think you ever get over something like that."
No, and how do you
massive,
live with yourself?
Taking a life, yeah. Brandon was buried next to his father in Seattle. At his funeral, the actor and friend, George Clooney, said that Brandon had been on the verge of his big break. The remaining days of filming were completed with stunt doubles, including a guy called Chad Stahelski, who would later go on to direct the John Wick films. There's a little fun fact for you. Special effects digitally placed Brandon's face onto unfinished scenes, much like they did with Oliver Reed in the original Gladiator film when he died during production.
Okay.
But he wasn't shot, he just died. When The Crow was finally released in 1994, it was dedicated to Brandon and Eliza, and it grossed more than 50 million worldwide and became a gothic cult classic.
Yes.
Hence why our White Witch Safka is a fan.
Yes.
Critics say Brandon's performance was haunting, magnetic, and unforgettable, and some say Brandon haunts every frame. But really, the film would always be linked to this tragedy, and you might think such a loss would change Hollywood safety standards forever. In many ways, it did. Safety protocols around firearms on set were tightened. Guns were to be checked and double-checked. Actors were told to handle only weapons cleared by armourers. But then, nearly 30 years later, like I said, the Rust tragedy showed just how fragile these safeguards could be.
Yeah.
And when Helena Hutchins was killed in 2021, Jeff Most, the producer of The Crow, felt his heart break all over again. He'd known her personally and remembered her as a dear, wonderful woman, Afterwards, the calls grew louder to ban real firearms on sets altogether. And to be honest with you, Michelle, I would say there's so many things you can do with films. They can make like a man look like a little... what they call them? That little thing
Gnome?
a gnome or a little greasy,
slug?
What's that little thing called?
Shrek?
No, in the film The Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
What's he called?
What, a hobbit?
No.
What?
The other thing. The other hobbit.
The other...
The green one.
I don't know what you mean.
Schliebel or whatever his name was. What's his name?
Who?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Should I look at it? Should I wiki this?
Yes,
this
please.
Is like, this has been the shittest brain drain.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
What's his name? The actor, he plays a load of things because he's really good at being an actor and then wearing a suit with dots on it so that he can make like CGI become a character.
Green Wizard? Because
No.
I just put Green Man in.
No, put it in Lord of the Rings. The one that eats the fish whole.
Eat fish. Gollum.
Gollum.
How did I not know you meant Gollum? Of course it's bloody Gollum.
Come on, you're supposed to be able to read my mind, Michelle. But anyway, since then, calls have grown louder to ban real firearms on film sets altogether. And like I said, if you can make a man into a golem, why can't you just make a gun look like it's shooting, for God's sake?
All sorts of green screen shit and AI. Come on, you don't need real guns.
They can shoot and go bang. Somebody off set can say bang, and then you can fall down. It's easy. Oh, I don't know. What am I? I'm not a film producer. But the Los Angeles Times ran an editorial demanding change as Alec Baldwin faced charges. And then the film's armourer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, she was actually convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And Jeff Most pipes up again. He says, there's no place for anything but absolute safety on a set. No actor should ever be held responsible for the weapon they're handed. But Brandon Lee's death is often described as a case of life imitating art because The Crow is about a man who dies young, just before his wedding, only to return from the grave seeking justice. But Brandon's legacy is more than the way he died. Friends describe him as a prankster. He enjoyed making people laugh. He was looking forward to his future and getting married and excited for roles beyond action films.
Well, thank you very much.
I haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
On his tombstone is a quote he had chosen for his wedding invitations from Paul Bowles' novel, The Sheltering Sky. It says, "Because we don't know when we will die, we get to think of life as an inexhaustible well, and yet everything happens only a certain number of times. How many more times will you watch the full moon rise? Perhaps 20. And yet it all seems limitless."
Oh.
It's a reminder not just of Brandon Lee's short life, but of the fragility of all our lives, Michelle.
Wow, you're getting deep, Geordie.
I am very deep today amongst the forgetfulness.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Like his sister said, Shannon, no one should ever die. Make it a movie.
No, fucking waste. What a waste.
Now you can say thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Say it, Michelle.
Gawn Too Soon.
A Mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, "I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie." I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Gone too soon. They are gone too soon. Mary, I'm gone too soon.
Well, once again, thank you very much, Geordie. Now, like you know, I was meant to be doing a different person, but I realised it's a one-hander. It's coming up. Don't know when, but it's coming. So you have to watch out for that.
Don't know when, don't know when.
So I had to scratch this up, but I hope you're going to enjoy this story.
Well, I fucking hope I do as well. You've kind of bigged it up
I
or
know.
not. You've burst my balloon a little
Yes.
bit.
Look, I decided I was going to do a story on a Karen.
Oh, Karen Carpenter.
Yes, it is. How did you know?
Not many famous Karens out
No,
there.
there's not.
Or iconic Karens.
She's an iconic
Yeah.
Karen. And I think she's also controversial because I think you love her or the Carpenters, or you just think they're fucking cheeseballs.
Or you can be indifferent.
Or indifferent. I think they're great, actually. I think her voice is beautiful. I don't love them, but I think her voice is amazing. But anyway, this is going to be on Karen. So Karen Ann Carpenter, she was born on the 2nd of March, 1950 in New Haven, Connecticut. She was the second child of Agnes and Harold Carpenter. And of course, the firstborn was her brother.
Richard.
Yep. And right from the get-go, it was clear that Richard was the star of the family. And Agnes, the mum, she apparently was a really fucking hard ass. She was controlling and she really only had love for one child. And that was Richard. Because she saw from a very young age that Richard was gifted, and he was apparently an amazing pianist, Agnes could not give him enough praise and encouragement. Karen, on the other hand, just grew up in his shadow because Richard was the prodigy and Karen was always just trying to kind of win the scraps of attention from her mum. And I think the lack of love and attention from her mum really fucked her up. In 1963, when Karen was 13, the family decided, well, we've got to give Richard some opportunities here to be a star. So they moved from Connecticut all the way to Downey in California, which is apparently on the edge of LA.
Sounds like a bit of a downer.
I know, it does. Then Richard was kind of like, pushed out to be the star. But it meant that, Karen also was now in this environment where maybe she might get discovered. But the thing was that Karen was super sporty. She really loved sport. She wasn't that keen on the whole, musician drama thing, whatever. And she thought, well, but I'm going to join the marching band. And she was given the glockenspiel to play and she hated it.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't love a Glock?
I love a Glock. But she had her eyes on the drum. So she just wanted to whack the shit out of those drums. So eventually she got to play drums in the marching band, and eventually she convinced her parents to shell out for a Ludwig drum kit.
That's top notch.
Yeah, apparently it was $300, which is the equivalent of $3,000 these days.
Wow.
Which is a lot, a lot of money to spend on
A hobby.
what could be a fad. I mean, my sister, her daughter said, I want to play violin. Can you buy me one? And Steph said, how about you give it a go for a while? Well, 6 months later, she had no interest in the violin.
Yeah.
So thankfully, Steph had only rented one. This is the thing. Kids are fickle. But Karen loved it. Loved the drums. And she was a natural. She would practice every day. She taught herself how to play all these really complex time signatures.
Amazing.
She practiced different grips that she would just teach herself. And she got really good, really fast.
Girl drummers.
Yep. Meanwhile, her brother Richard formed the Dick Carpenter trio.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, but don't call yourself Dick.
How many dicks does there need to be in the Dick Carpenter trio?
Really? I mean, I just think don't call yourself Dick unless you are one.
No. Exactly.
But he did get Karen in on the drums and a guy called Wes on the bass. This was great. Karen was playing the drums. She didn't sing. She was behind that drum kit.
No one knew she could sing at this point, I'm sure.
No, they didn't. But in 1966, at an audition with some guy called Joe Osborne, who apparently was some famous session player in LA, and I don't know what the audition was for, but it kind of changed her life because Joe was there going, oh yeah, cool, like this teenage girl on the drums. And then she was just singing a few notes around, not really aiming to be seen or heard, but she just sang a few bars of something. And he was just like, what the hell? Because she has this really unique low contralto voice that is just really pure. And Joe was like, oh my God, I need to sign this girl. And I guess her brother...
Dick can come along for the ride.
Dick can come along for the hot mess that it was going to end up because he had this crappy little label and he just wanted Karen, really.
Yeah. And
Richard was not happy about it, but he went along with it because he was the star, And things did not take off for them at all. The label had no money, but they kept at it. And after a few years and a few lineup changes and a name change and some demo tapes, in 1969, the Carpenters were signed under a wing of A&M Records because the bosses, Herb Alpert, who I think was a musician, the Herb Alpert Trio, and a guy called Jerry Moss, heard Karen and just really loved Karen's voice and really believed in them. She was just 19 and they signed them. She was singing, but she was still behind the drum kit. And she loved it. She loved not being the centre of attention. Yeah. Their first single was Ticket to Ride, which is a Beatles cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, did okay. But then in 1970, they had an album and it changed their lives. In March, they released the album Close to You. Mm-hmm. And they released that same song.
That was the song that was the number one hit the year I was born, or the month I was born even.
Really, it was a number one smash, right? And it turned them into overnight stars. And it was just a tidal wave of success after that because after they released Close to You, they released We've Only Just Begun.
We've only just begun. That's a good one.
Sharing lessons that are new to us.
Oh.
I love that song. It's just so happy and joyful. And her voice, it always sounds like she's smiling, when she sings.
I don't think it's all happy and joyful, though. It starts quite melancholy.
That song?
So many da, da, da.
Start off walking and learn to
Yeah, it
run.
is quite melancholy. And then it goes into the bit that you did.
Did you know it was actually a song for a TV commercial for a bank?
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, and it was a bank in California. Yeah, this guy had written it and she heard it and she was like, that song's amazing. I want to cover that song. I want to cover the bank ad.
Give it to me.
So, and it was a huge song. Then came Rainy Days and Mondays. Beautiful.
Yes.
Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
Yep.
Exactly. Then Superstar.
This is what I was thinking when we're talking about Dick going to the big lights and becoming a star. Don't you remember the na-na-na-na-na-na?
You love me, baby. And then Yesterday Once More. All of them, big fucking smash hits.
Yeah.
And by the mid-70s, they had 17 singles in the top 20.
Gosh, they were banking it.
Yep. They sold millions and millions of records worldwide. They had the Grammys all lined up. They were riding high and people absolutely loved them. But the critics slammed them because they're cheesy.
Cheesy.
They are.
Nursery rhymes.
And if you're in Australia, you might have thought they were daggy, you know. They weren't cool.
My parents loved them, which makes them, by default,
daggy. Exactly. Yeah. But if you were them...
Sorry, Mum, by the way.
I wonder if Jen liked them. Jen...
No, she was probably into AC/DC, Akadaka. She was a headbanger, Jen.
She had some good musical taste. Like she had
Meatloaf.
I'm sure we had a bit of Meatloaf at home. You might have thought they were daggy, but in the US alone, they were selling tens of millions of records. So who's laughing now?
Who cares? Exactly.
Who gives a fuck? But obviously, beneath this kind of glittery little success story, the cracks were already beginning to show. Now, Karen was still living at home. She was well into her 20s at this point, which kind of meant she was still under
Agnes.
The gaze of Agnes,
Yeah.
yes. Look, apparently she was quite childlike. She loved stuffed toys. And she was very kind of young and had this naive sort of persona. And it seemed, from what I've read, that no matter how successful the Carpenters were, she never, ever got the seal of approval or the affection from Agnes. It all went to Richard. What a bitch. It's a little bit mummy dearest, you know.
Yeah.
While she couldn't get the love she needed from her mum, what she could control was her eating. As a kid, she was kind of chubby. I saw pictures and I didn't even recognize her.
Right.
After high school, she dabbled with a few diets. She went on something called the Stillman water diet. It worked. She slimmed right down and went from being chubby to really slim. But in August 1973, she saw pictures of herself from a Lake Tahoe gig. And it was a bad picture. It was bad lighting. Her outfit made her look like she had a tummy. She was absolutely mortified. So she was like, I can't have this. And it was just that image of her looking like she had this gut, basically. So she hired a trainer. But instead of losing weight, she gained all this muscle and she absolutely hated it. So the trainer was fired and Karen was like, I'm going to do it my way. So she bought this thing called a hip cycle, which is kind of like a portable exercise machine.
Right.
And she would pedal like a maniac on that thing. God. And the pounds just dropped off. She looked great, apparently. And by 1974, she was around 49 kilos. Oh. She's 5'4". That's still fucking skinny, if you ask me. But Richard was like, you look great. And Karen's like, yeah, but I still want to lose another 2-3 kilos.
Oh, it's always a bit more, always a bit more.
Yep. Richard realised at that point, okay, she's chasing numbers on a scale rather than being healthy. Yeah. And pretty soon, Karen wasn't eating at all. And she would pretend to eat food. So she was moving it around on her plate and she'd be like, oh my God, my meal's delicious. Why don't you have a bite? Here, you have a bite. And she was like palming her food off on everyone else's plate to look like she was eating. Yeah. But she was just getting skinnier and skinnier. And by 1975, she was kind of hiding how emaciated she looked by just layering all her clothes, you know, jumpers and jackets on top of each other and skirts over jeans or whatever, like just to hide the fact that she was skin and bones. And then a family friend accidentally saw her sunbathing topless one day and was horrified.
Oh dear.
Because she had no boobs, her chest was flat, her bones were sticking out.
Oh no.
And she was going on tour and fans were shocked and they thought, fuck, has she got cancer?
Oh dear.
And look, I think what we need to remember here is that this is 1975 and the term anorexia nervosa, no one had even heard of it. It wasn't a thing. And they also didn't understand it. So people were like, she's skinny. What's the big deal? Just eat. Just eat something.
Right. They didn't realise it was an actual disordered thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, her agent wanted to get help from her, but Agnes refused.
Oh, God.
Agnes said, this is a private family matter.
Oh, God.
So the thing is, Karen was like, oh, my God, I'm finally getting the attention from my mother that I've never had before. And it was one way that Agnes was actually kind of making a fuss of her.
Yeah.
So it was kind of sick. You know, she was starving herself to get her mum's attention. And there's so much to unpack with that.
There's a lot to unpack. It's very sad.
So by the autumn of 1975, like her body just couldn't take it and she collapsed after a run of shows and she was admitted to Cedars-Sinai. And the official press line was she had nervous exhaustion, but her doctors and her family knew she was anorexic. And a European tour was cancelled. They lost hundreds of thousands on cancelling that show, but she just couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. Yeah. And she went home and she was under Agnes's control then. She was sleeping 16 hours a day. She was just gone. But her weight did slowly creep up, but it was only temporary because, you know, anorexia had taken hold of her.
It's a way of thinking, a way of being.
Yeah. So the thing is, at the same time, it turns out Richard was addicted to Quaaludes.
Oh, Richard!
I know. And by 1977, he had checked himself into rehab. You know how I said, you know, don't call yourself Dick unless you are a dick.
Yeah.
He was a dick to Karen.
Was he?
He was a control freak in the studio. He would push her around and make her do things that she didn't want to do and tell her that's not good enough. And she would say, I'm exhausted. I don't want to tour. And he was like, no, show must go on. And he would push her to just do these tours she didn't want to do. For all his control in the studio, it's funny that he got hooked on downers to cope. But by 1979, he was clean. But Karen was in a really dark place. Mm-hmm. And her anorexia had escalated. And now she was also bulimic. And all the while, the Carpenters machine kept on going. They kept on grafting.
It's such a shame that there wasn't any kind of anybody noticing that their golden goose was struggling. And without her, the show would be over. Somebody invest in this woman, in her mental health.
But you could say that about Amy Winehouse. You can say that about all of these stars who have family and a whole team around them, and no one knows what to do and nobody helps them. And this is what was happening to Karen, you know, because there were tours, there was TV specials, there were recording sessions and albums and whatever. But behind the surface of being a pop star, Karen was fucked. The other thing too is that the media were always like, oh, doesn't she look so slim? And, oh, she looks great. And, you know, the only attention she got from her mum was when she was ill. So she's getting a lot of really mixed feedback here. And then she decided in 1980 she was going to record an album on her own.
Without that dick.
Without Dick. And apparently it was more like a disco album. And she recorded it. She played it for Richard and for Herb Alpert and for Jerry. They hated it. And they said, we're not releasing this shit. And Karen was devastated. And then she got a bill for $400,000 for the recordings to be deducted from future royalties. And she was humiliated. And she spiraled even more. Then, out of nowhere, that year, 1980, she announced, I'm engaged to a guy called Thomas James Burris, who was a property developer and 9 years older than her. And from the outside, Tom looked like, hey, I'm rich and I'm successful. I'm in property biz. And Karen's friends were like, oh my God, thank God she's got this guy. I hope he gives her love and stability and a family life, because Karen wanted kids more than anything. Her biggest dream was to be a mother. But we have another dick in this story, Tom. Tom was a dickhead. Because barely 2 months into their relationship, he was like, let's get married.
Oh, he saw a golden goose as well.
He did. And they had a quick but very extravagant wedding at the Beverly Hills Hotel in August 1980. And, you know, it was going to be absolutely huge, like with the media. So People magazine, expensive everything, a real production.
Yeah.
But just before the wedding rehearsal, Tom dropped a bombshell. He told her, oh, by the way, I've had a vasectomy and children are off the table unless I reverse the surgery. And he said, and even then it's unlikely. I'll be shooting blanks.
Dick.
So for Karen, this was a deal breaker. She was absolutely fucking devastated.
Yeah.
She picked up the phone crying and called her mum and said, Tom's lied to me. I'm never going to be a mother. I'm never going to have the family I dreamed of. He's lied to me the whole time we've been together. I don't want to go ahead with the wedding.
Yeah. I
want to cancel it.
I can imagine what Agnes said.
Oh, yes. She said, absolutely not. You will not humiliate this family. The invitations have gone out. Guests and reporters and photographers, they're all flying into LA. People magazine are covering the event.
Oh, how awful.
The Carpenters brand is tied up with this. And she said, the wedding is on and you will walk down that aisle. And this is a quote. You made your bed, Karen. Now you have to lie in it.
Oh, this is appalling.
And so she did. 31st of August.
Wow.
She walked down the aisle to a song that she and Tom had written together. And yeah, it was fucked. The marriage fell apart almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because turns out not only was Tom a dick, he lied about everything. He had no money and he was sponging off her. Like you said, he saw the golden goose. Friends were like, oh my God, he's borrowing money from her left, right and centre. He can't afford anything. He didn't own the houses or the cars. He borrowed money from her to buy the wedding ring.
Oh no.
And he said to her, and this is awful, this really made me upset. She said, will you reverse the vasectomy?
Yeah.
I want to try for a baby. And he said, I will never have children with, quote, a bag of bones like you.
Oh my God.
What a cunt. Anyway, she was so devastated. And by 1981...
people were just so cruel to her.
I know. And why? She just seems like such a sweet, kind of innocent, pure person.
Yeah.
But she was like, fuck this. And the only thing she could control was her weight.
Yeah.
So she was chomping down boxes of laxatives. And by that, I mean, she was having like 80 or 90 a night.
Oh, God.
She filed for divorce because the marriage lasted barely a year.
Yeah.
And by 1982, she'd left LA and she went to New York because she wanted to get healthy. So she booked into a hotel and got her friend called Itchy Ramon, real name, and signed up for therapy with a guy who had written a book about anorexia called The Best Little Girl in the World. It had been adapted into a TV movie and Karen idolized him and she was like, he can help me. She began seeing him daily. She was paying him $2,000 a month.
Wow.
Which back then was a fuckload of money.
Yep.
Still is now. She was down to 35 kilos.
Oh my God.
She was a skeleton, you know. Scariest of all, she admitted to her therapist that she was taking thyroid medication to speed up her metabolism. She didn't have a thyroid problem. And he was like, fuck, you need to stop that immediately. And then she started treatment properly and it did not go well. And in a bit of an intervention move, this therapist, Stephen Levenkron, got the family together for like this group therapy session. And all of them were saying, Karen, we love you, we love you. Agnes couldn't say it.
Oh my God, that's so telling.
And Karen was even more distraught. It's just like...
to have that in your face.
Yep.
Confirmation.
The family thought he was a bit of a quack, actually. Turns out he wasn't even a doctor.
Oh no.
Yeah, he'd done a bit of training, but he was actually a bit of a quack. By 1982, in September, she was admitted to hospital where they began intravenously feeding her, which meant she had no control. You know, it did the trick. She gained 5 kilos in a few days. And by the time she'd left, she'd gained more than 10 kilos.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and apparently she was thrilled. She was telling everyone she was thrilled. But she also thought, this guy, I'm done with him. And she cut ties with, Levenkron and went back to California. She bought 2 apartments next to each other, put her parents in one, she was in the other, and she said to Richard, I'm ready to record again. But she was still super skinny. She was sleeping all the time.
Yeah.
She was exhausted. And then in January 1983, one day her housekeeper just found her on the floor.
Oh, no.
She was kind of out of it. And Karen's like, don't worry, I'm just tired. And days later, she was like, I'm fine. It was nothing. And she was really excited for this whole kind of comeback. Then on February 3rd, she phoned friends to say she was signing the divorce papers that week and she would be flying back to New York to see her friend Itchy's newborn child. She'd even booked a manicure. She wanted bright red nail polish. She was just really looking forward to like seeing her friends.
Yeah.
But the next morning on February 4th, 1983, her mum Agnes, who was in the next townhouse, connected to Karen's, got up, brewed some coffee, rang Karen upstairs to say, hey, your coffee is ready. Karen didn't answer the phone. So Agnes went upstairs and that's when she saw Karen. She was naked, face down on the closet floor, and her eyes were open but rolled back. Yep. Paramedics were immediately called. And at this point, Karen's heart was actually beating once every 10 seconds.
Once every 10 seconds?
Yep. She was alive, though, and they thought maybe there's a chance. And they rushed her to Downey Community Hospital, but she didn't make it. And she was pronounced dead at 9:51 a.m. And she was 32. So I'm just going to do a little recap here. Basically, her body was fucked from years of starvation, loads of laxatives, the thyroid pills, and even that kind of force feeding from the hospital.
Yeah.
Because
Too much
it
pressure
caused
on the
rapid
body.
weight gain.
Yep.
It was all too much for her. And the coroner's report said she had a cardiac arrest triggered by emetine cardiotoxicity. And if you don't know what that means, because I didn't, emetine is an active compound found in ipecac syrup.
Ipecac. We've talked about this before.
It's an over-the-counter medicine that pretty much in a lot of American households, it's what people take to get you to throw up poison in cases of emergencies.
Right.
Somehow along the line, she discovered this could make her throw up.
Yeah.
And she was dosing herself with it daily in secret. But what she didn't know is that the syrup, it did induce vomiting, but it dissolves heart muscle.
Oh, like Ozempic.
What?
I don't know. That's not factual, by the way. That's just me guessing. I've heard that it eats away at muscles, including the vagina and the jaw. So why not the heart?
Oh my God.
Be careful.
That's fucking terrible. Well, what she had been doing and didn't even realize, every drink was just shaving another bit of muscle and tissue off her heart. And by the time she collapsed at her parents' house, her heart muscle was so thin that's why it was only beating once every 10 seconds. 6 beats a minute. She was barely alive. Obviously, she had no idea how lethal it was. And of course, like when Karen died, the news broke and people were crying.
Yeah.
Fans were weeping outside her parents' home. And suddenly, anorexia was all over the headlines. And it became a serious condition that people were suddenly having to face.
They'd been facing it, but without any kind of recognition or support or understanding. But now it had a name and it had an explanation and a bit more of an understanding. Awareness.
Her funeral was held 4 days later on the 8th of February. She was initially buried at Forest Lawn in Cypress, California, but in 2003, her body was moved along with her parents to a different mausoleum. I don't know why. And as for her will, her parents and her brother got everything except the house, which Tom got.
I was going to say, she hadn't quite signed the papers, had she?
No. But like I said, there's twofold legacy here. She left us with this beautiful voice and all those songs that keep on keeping on. But, her death did highlight this very real and very serious eating disorder that before then was virtually unknown. So maybe her struggles helped generations of girls and women get help before hopefully it was too late.
Yeah.
And that's Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Gawn Too Soon.
And thank you, Michelle, for talking about her like that. I mean, I think that there is a film you can see on Netflix or something about Karen Carpenter's life. Is there?
I think there was a really dodgy as fuck telly movie back in the day.
Who starred as Karen?
Oh my God, should I wiki it?
She's back on the computer. Because it is quite a fascinating life, really. And I mean, it's so sad, the fact that her mother was so uncaring And it really affected her self-worth.
Her self-worth. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cynthia Gibb
Oh, yeah.
played Karen Carpenter in the made-for-television film The Karen Carpenter Story in 1989. Who's Cynthia Gibb?
It might be one for the YouTubes.
If I can find it, I'll pop it on the Patreon.
She sure will. Oh, wow, Michelle, that's incredible. Well, there you have a lovely double-handed Gawn Too Soon. One was requested by a listener. The other one was not. But that's okay because I enjoyed listening to Karen Carpenter's story.
Yes, it's a sad one.
Well, now that's it for us. We're going to have to shoot off.
There's only 3 things left to say.
I was going to say, Michelle, the very same thing, but you jumped the gun and said it for me.
Too many gun references here. Shoot off.
So many guns.
Guns. It's too much. So, wherever you are.
Whatever you do, just keep eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping.
Dropping. Dropping.
Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping all day long. Eavesdropping, this is the song.
Drop it like it's hot.
AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at fin.ai.